If you've ever finished your makeup and then looked in the mirror and thought, why do my under eyes still look a bit dry and crepey or dark and shadowy, despite doing everything the right way for dry, textured, or mature under eyes? Why is my concealer creasing or just not wearing well throughout the day? You are not alone. All dry, textured, or mature under eyes are not created equally. I've been there myself, and for a while now, I've been pretty consistent with this under eye routine for my dry under eyes with dark circles and under eye hollows. This video has been in my planner for a while now, and it's been highly requested. So today I'm sharing my full under eye routine, including skincare that's pertinent to the eye area and makeup, so you can see how everything works together to keep my under eye area smooth, hydrated, and concealed throughout the entire day without creasing or settling. So let's go ahead and get into it. Washing my face is always my first skincare step, and since we're washing our entire face, it does include the under eye area, which is why I'm including it in this video. You can use any cleanser you have on hand and that you love, but if you're interested in some that I use and recommend for all skin types, they will be sourced below in my description box along with everything I'm sharing and wearing in today's video. And I'll have as many products as I can source through the YouTube shopping icons there too, but they quite frequently don't have products available to you, which is why I source in both places to give you options. Now, I just grabbed a clip here of me washing my face from another video because it pretty much looks the same every day. I didn't grab footage on the day I filmed all these clips because I cleansed my face in the shower on that day. Now, I'm still using non-invasive methods to avoid injectables right now, things like at-home facial devices and skincare products with effective ingredients that penetrate the skin to help stimulate collagen production, which we lose with age, to help with firmness, elasticity, fine lines, and things like that. So any skincare products that help with those things, I apply all over my face, including the eye area, and I apply my skincare products thinnest to thickest. Now, this serum was the first serum I was applying, but then I realized how much it actually did and that it helped me really streamline my skincare routine. So now it's the only serum that I'm using most mornings. This is Allies of Skin Multi-Peptides and Growth Factor Advanced Lifting Serum. You may remember me mentioning this a while back in a video or two. That was my first bottle that I was on. This is my second. Since that time, I've noticed a difference in terms of texture, brightness, tone, and overall glow to my skin. And I do have an Allies of Skin savings code for you today, so a big thank you to them for partnering with me on this portion of today's video so I can pass that savings on to you and share more about this serum, which I adore. The texture is incredibly silky thin and lightweight, and it was easy to incorporate into my existing routine. It sinks into my skin beautifully and works well with my other skincare products and under makeup. You can apply it all over your face and neck, including the eye area, and I love that I get multiple benefits in one step: peptides, growth factors, antioxidant protection, and added hydration, which is another reason I love putting this under my eyes. The more hydration, the better for my dry under eyes. I've always been a big fan of incorporating growth factors into our skincare routine. I was using a very popular, very expensive growth factor serum when I first started this channel, and then I kind of stopped using it because I was testing so many things. But growth factors naturally exist in every layer of our skin. Their job is to maintain the structure and function of a healthy skin and to support collagen production. And if you have watched my channel, you've probably heard me say that by the time you're 50, you've probably lost about half of your collagen stores. So growth factors kind of tell our skin what to do and when to do it. They initiate wound healing, cellular repair, and the creation of new cells, and they communicate with our cells to instruct them to act like younger cells by reproducing and rebuilding like they did when they were young. But the technology to formulate growth factor serums so that they penetrate the skin deeply and are effective beyond just the hydrating ingredients in them is pretty expensive, which is why growth factors historically have been elusive and pricey. So you're not just getting an effective growth factor complex here, you're getting a peptide complex too to address multiple pathways and target static and dynamic lines. Peptides are chains of amino acids that can detect broken down collagen and instruct our cells to make more. So combining a growth factor and a peptide complex, you're basically doubling down on your results. It also contains antioxidants to protect your skin from the elements and soothing, hydrating ingredients. Like I said, this is my second bottle. It will not be my last. This has become a staple in my skincare routine. And with the exclusive discount code on your screen, SMGF, you can save 20% site-wide at Allies of Skin on this serum that's been featured in Vogue and sold out 6 times, by the way, to your firming skincare routine. After applying lightweight serums, it's time to moisturize. If I'm using a hydrating moisturizer, I will typically apply it all over my face and lightly under my eyes. But if I'm using one tailored more towards combination oily skin or a balancing type of moisturizer like this one, because it's warm or hot and humid and the AC is running, I keep it below the under eye area only. This is the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Gel Cream Oil-Free Moisturizer, which does a nice job of hydrating while balancing oil breakthrough and minimizing the look of pores. But because I want maximum hydration under my eyes, I don't want to bring that under my eyes. And every day, no matter what, without fail, I apply some kind of hydrating lightweight eye cream under my eyes out to my crow's feet area next to the corner of my eye. I just lightly dab it on and kind of massage it in very gently. And even better if that eye cream has some kind of benefits. I have some nice effective options for both morning and night if you're interested at all price points. In my description box, I do want to make a note that just because an option is available at the drugstore does not mean it's necessarily less expensive. When it comes to eye creams, you really do have to look at the cost per usually quarter ounce. I want to say Kiehl's was my example that I gave in a video a long time ago. It ended up being less expensive than most drugstore eye creams. The one I applied in the clips is this one from NeoCutis that I've been using off and on for years because I swear I see a difference with it. You don't have to spend this much. Again, there are other options for you. I like to let my moisturizer and eye cream sink in for a bit, just a minute or two before applying sunscreen. If I'm going outside at all, which I do apply all over my face and around the eye area. On this day, I was filming 2 videos inside. I was not seeing the sun, so I stopped here. But no matter what the last step of my skincare is, whether it's sunscreen or if it's moisturizer and eye cream, I let those sink in for several minutes before applying any makeup to my face. This is very, very important. Now, if time is of the essence and you're getting ready to go to work or you're in a hurry, this is when I would be doing my hair. I do another step of my getting ready routine at this point so that my skincare steps can fully absorb. This helps with pilling and wear throughout the day. Now, if you have dry under eyes like I do, what you're probably going to notice is that since some time has elapsed between your skincare and your makeup step, some of that nice hydration that you had earlier right after applying your skincare seems to have disappeared, vanished. It has absorbed into your skin. So the first thing that I do with my under eye area when I sit down at my makeup table is apply an under eye hydrating prep step that helps revive and kind of double down on that hydration. Now, a bug bit my cheek when I took the dog outside, so let's just ignore that because it is here to stay with us in these clips. I'm using this Tula 24/7 Power Swipe. It hydrates, treats, and smooths and has some nice ingredients, and there's a ton of product here, so it lasts forever. And I have some other options that I enjoy sourced for you down below in my description box too, if you want to check those out. I swipe it under my eyes out to my crow's feet area and tab out the edges. And if I'm wearing primer under my foundation that day, this is the point when I apply that primer everywhere except the under eye area, because the less layers of makeup you apply to a dry, textured, or mature under eye area, the better, especially makeup that's going to set. And you can see here that my under eye area still looks nice and hydrated after applying a soft matte primer to my face. Now, if you have dark circles or discoloration under your eyes, you may notice that sometimes if you're using only concealer, you look kind of tired or you have kind of a gray cast under your eyes, concealer can only take you so far. This is where corrector comes in. It helps counterbalance that discoloration under your eyes under the concealer so that you can use thinner, less layers and avoid caking and creasing from trying to pile on the concealer. So sometimes I apply corrector before foundation, sometimes I apply it after. Today I'm applying it before. It doesn't really matter. I apply a very small amount of a creamy, peachy toned corrector. That's what works best for me. Some people do better with a yellow tone. I feel like technically yellow should work better for me, but I always look tired with yellow, so peachy it is. I only apply it localized to areas of discoloration under my eyes and my inner corner and at the outer corner, which is an area that a lot of people forget about. I'm also applying a bit to the bite on my cheek. Bobbi Brown Stick Corrector is my longtime favorite, although I have others that I enjoy and recommend. Source for you down below. The shade I wear is Bisque. I get asked a lot, which Bisque is it? Is it Pink Bisque? Is it X Bisque? I don't even know what else they have. It is just the shade Bisque. I know some people like to use a brush for this step. I personally like to use the warmth of my finger because it melts the product into my skin and looks so much more natural and skin-like versus kind of sitting on top of my skin. That's a personal preference. The reason why it doesn't matter if you apply your corrector before or after foundation, I just kind of do it based on my mood, is because you're only taking your corrector to the localized areas of discoloration. You're not blending it further out into where your foundation will be. And when you apply your foundation, you want to apply it where needed and not take it underneath your eyes. Remember, the less layers, the better. I am aware that my foundation is too light, by the way. And you also don't want to have a foundation that might possibly set down and dry your under eye area. We're trying to keep that hydrated and only correct and conceal and set and have everything blend seamlessly into the foundation area. So just blend any foundation where you want it, keeping the under eye area out to the crow's feet free and clear. Now it's time for concealer, and in these clips I'm using my most used for any occasion concealer since I discovered it a couple years ago, Tower 28. I wear shade DTLA. I feel like I need to give you a disclaimer that I haven't really heard anybody mention, maybe they have, I just haven't heard it, but I feel like especially when you have more mature, textured, or dry skin, you really need to take some time and get to know your concealer and how it applies best. I'm going to use myself as an example. I see a lot of people demonstrating applying concealers with a brush, which may work fine for most people, perhaps with less dryness and texture than I have, and it has worked decently well for me with a few concealers. But I find because brushes in general can kick up dry flakes and enhance texture, whether we're talking foundation or concealer, and because I always look at things in a brightly lit 5 times magnified mirror, using a brush just doesn't always work for me personally with most concealers. There are a few, but the warmth of my fingers is usually the best thing to melt a concealer into my skin so that it looks like skin. Even if I use a brush, I usually further tap it in with the warmth of my finger. Now, if I apply a concealer directly with the applicator, as many people do, I apply a small amount, a few dots, directly to my darkest areas, my inner corner, my outer corner, and the darkest part of my under eye hollow, and I blend it out with the warmth of my finger, and it blends out seamlessly. Now, on the second eye, I wanted to show you blending it out with a very good brush that has worked well for me with some concealers, but it initially has a sort of a drier look to it. I'm hoping you can see this on camera. Some things I can see with my eye, but I don't know if they translate on camera. I just wanted to show you this in case this is something that happens to you. It may not be the concealer, it may be the method, and blending it out with your fingers very, very lightly may be the answer for you. And that's actually all it takes for me to remedy this situation. I press it gently with my finger and all is well. If I'm applying any cream or liquid color products, I do so at this time. And if by chance any concealer coverage is removed because of that application, sometimes that happens at the darkest part of my under eye hollow as I'm applying a cream or liquid blush. I'll just reapply a tiny dot to that area and blend it out after. This is when I set my under eyes. Listen, I understand if you don't want to set your under eyes, but it could have been your technique that you used before. It could have been the powder. There are such great, sheer, natural looking powders that you may not have tried yet. So I'm going to show you what works for me, what I've used on other people that works for them. But if you've tried it once or twice and it didn't work out, I'm going to encourage you, try it with the right concealer, the right powder, the right technique. A lot can go wrong for people during the setting step, but it doesn't have to. If you're prone to creasing like I am right under your eyes or in your crow's feet area, there's just really no way to keep that from happening during the day and from looking terrible. And for me, there's no way to keep a concealer from wearing away during the day if it's not set. No matter how creaseless a concealer claims to be, after looking around for just a few minutes, I will crease almost immediately under my lash line. If you're like that too, be sure to press those creases out either lightly with the tip of your finger, the tip of your sponge, the edge of a brush, a puff, or something before attempting to set your under eyes because you don't want to set those creases in. I'm very particular about powders I use under my eyes because the wrong powder can ruin perfect, beautiful skin-like concealing very quickly and enhance every bit of dryness and texture. So any kind of under eye setting powder has to be very finely milled, sheer, lightweight, and smoothing, and not dry my skin out or make it look crepey, and not have a lot of glitter shimmer particles in it. Again, all the products I'm sharing and suggestions that I use and recommend for all skin types are linked down below. So a lot of people are raving about this new Kosas powder, and it is really nice, but I tried the new Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder in soft pink, and I think I like it better. I think this is actually more smoothing and more finely milled. The key here when you have mature under eyes or dryness and texture is to not go in cold with too much right away. If you try to set a very creamy concealer that looks perfect the wrong way with a very finely milled powder, it can sort of catch or look patchy or powdery. So I apply a very light layer on a soft, small domed brush first. It's very quick, it's very easy, and you may be thinking this light whisper of powder is enough, we're done. No, it's not, because as it stands, this light layer of powder is sitting on top of the skin. It's not fused with our skin, and it's not doing anything to prevent creasing or fading right now. So you want to press it into your skin. And to do this, I take a tiny bit more onto the tip of a dry puff or even the damp sponge I applied my foundation with earlier, and I press it lightly into my most crease-prone areas, directly under my lash line and my crow's feet, and then I press the remainder under the rest of my eye. And you can see when I set the rest of this side of my face, before I even have the rest of my makeup on, it looks soft and natural. And on the other side, I do basically the same thing with my longtime favorite Pat McGrath Under Eye Setting Powder in Light. Again, I have other great options listed below as well. And you can see once my makeup is complete, it all comes together. My under eyes don't look powdery or cakey. They look smooth and natural, and they're good to go all day long. Now for special days or nights where I want extra smoothing and brightening, I use the under eye setting hack I showed you with Kosas Cloud Set Pressed and Huda Beauty setting powder that I didn't think would work, but it actually works phenomenally well. You can see that video here, and I hope you enjoyed this and found it helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and share this with someone that might find it helpful too. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.